Chapter 8, Part 3, Order Management Influences on Customer Service. A major portion of this chapter has discussed the concept of order management and customer service as somewhat mutually exclusive. However, the beginning of the chapter explained that the two concepts are in fact related to one another. Let's take a look at the 5 major outputs of order management that influence customer service, namely product availability, order cycle time, logistics operations responsiveness, logistics systems information, and post-sale logistics support. Each of these outputs impacts customer service satisfaction, and the performance of each is determined by the seller's order management and logistics systems. Logistics system information, or LSI, is critical to the logistics and order management processes. It underlies an organization's ability to provide quality product availability, order cycle time, logistics operations responsiveness, and post-sale logistics support. Timely and accurate information can reduce inventories in the supply chain and improve cash flow to all supply chain partners. 3 types of information that must be captured and shared to execute the order management process are pre-transactions, transaction, and post-transaction. Pre-transaction information includes all information that is needed by the buyer and seller before the order is placed. Transaction information includes all information that is required to execute the order. And post-transaction information includes all information that is needed after the order is delivered. Many organizations focus primarily on outbound logistics, i.e. getting the product to the customer. For some organizations, supporting a product after it is delivered is a competitive advantage. Post-sale logistics support, or PLS, can take 2 forms. First, PLS can be the management of product returns from the customer to the supplier. The second form of PLS is product support through the delivery and installation of spare parts. A strategic profit model calculation would be required to determine the change in ROI as a result of the improvement in order fill rate. The next step would require the seller to determine the break-even point between order fill rates and inventory costs. Many methods exist to measure the efficiency and effectiveness of product availability. However, 4 metrics are widely used across multiple industries: item fill rate, line fill rate, order fill rate, and perfect order. Item fill rate and line fill rate are considered internal metrics, that is, they are designed to measure the efficiency of how well the seller is setting its inventories to fill items or lines on an order. Order fill rates and perfect order rates are external metrics, that is, they are designed to capture the buyer experience with product availability. Order fill rate is the percent of orders filled complete. Finally, perfect order rate is the percent of orders filled completely, received on time, billed accurately, etc. Although not the most important, product availability is usually the most basic output of an organization's order management and logistics systems. This is true because product availability can be measured by asking the simple question: did I get what I wanted, when I wanted it, and in the quantity I wanted? Sellers will normally hold more inventory to increase product availability. Buyers will hold more inventory to reduce stockouts, thus increasing product availability. An important aspect of product availability is to find where in the supply chain it is being measured. Another important aspect of product availability is determining whether or not all products should be made available at the same level. Some organizations strive to have 100% product availability across all products. The cost associated with achieving this goal would be prohibitive and unnecessary. Product availability levels for products can be determined by examining the level of substitutability and related stockout costs for a product, as well as the demand profile for that product. Order cycle time is the time that elapses from when a buyer places an order with a seller until the buyer receives the order. The absolute length and reliability of order cycle time influences both seller and buyer inventories and will have resulting impacts on both revenues and profits for both organizations. Normally, the shorter the order cycle time, the more inventory that must be held by the seller and the less inventory that must be held by the buyer, and vice versa. In terms of metrics, order cycle time or lead time includes all activities and related time from when an order is placed by a buyer until the order is received. This definition can be viewed as the buyer's perception of lead time because this time ends when the buyer receives the ordered goods. A seller might look at lead time from the perspective of order to cash cycle time. This definition of lead time for the seller is important because the receipt of payment for the shipment ends this process for the seller. Another often overlooked definition of order cycle time is customer wait time, or CWT. Used in both the private and public sectors, CWT includes not only order cycle time, but also maintenance time. The concept of logistics operations responsiveness, or LOR, examines how well a seller can respond to a buyer's needs. This response can take two forms. First, LOR can be how well a seller can customize its service offerings to the unique requirements of a buyer. Second, LOR can be how quickly a seller can respond to a sudden change in a buyer's demand pattern. Usually, LOR metrics will measure performance above and beyond basic on-time delivery or order fill rates. Examples of LOR metrics can be found in Process D1 of the SCORE model under flexibility. These three metrics are: number 1, upside delivery flexibility; number 2, downside deliver adaptability; and number 3, upside deliver adaptability. Logistics System Information, or LSI, is critical to the logistics and order management processes. It underlines an organization's ability to provide quality product availability, order cycle time, logistics operations responsiveness, and post-sale logistics support. Timely and accurate information can reduce inventories in the supply chain and improve cash flow to all supply chain partners. Three types of information that must be captured and shared to execute the order management process are pre-transaction, transaction, and post-transaction. Pre-transaction includes all information that is needed by the buyer and seller before the order is placed. Transaction information includes all information that is required to execute the order, and post-transaction information includes all information that is needed after the order is delivered. Most metrics involved with LSI address how accurate and timely the data are to allow a decision to be made or an activity to be performed. For example, forecast accuracy is a result of accurate data on past consumption as well as on good predictions on future consumption. Another example would be inventory accuracy. The accuracy of the inventory counts in a distribution center is the result of capturing consumption data from that facility in an accurate and timely manner. Data integrity is another metric that can be used to measure the quality of outputs from an LSI. Many organizations focus primarily on outbound logistics, i.e., getting the product to the customer. For some organizations, supporting a product after it's delivered is a competitive advantage. Post-sale logistics, or PLS, can take two forms. First, PLS can be the management of product returns from the customer to the supplier. The second form of PLS is product support through the delivery and installation of spare parts. No matter how well an organization plans to provide excellent service, mistakes will occur. Even in a Six Sigma statistical environment, 100% performance will not happen. High-performance organizations today realize this and are using the concept of service recovery. Basically, service recovery requires an organization to realize that mistakes will occur and to have plans in place to fix them.